everyone. I'm Sandy Duncan and host. I don't know who I am. Hang on. Hi, everyone. I'm Sandy Duncan, intuitive medium, going crazy, and host of Behind the Scenes with the Rescue Mediums. For anyone unfamiliar, Rescue Mediums was a hit TV series that was filmed from 2006 to 2011 and can still be seen in many countries around the world on YouTube and on veryparanormal.com. Mediums would visit people's homes that were disturbed by spirits and rescue them into the light. Today, we have 4 people who made this groundbreaking series possible. Please help me welcome Edna Dargy, Director of Research, Michael Lamport, Producer, Writer, Narrator, Jackie Dennison, Rescue Medium, International Clairvoyant Medium, and Psychic Artist, and Allison Wynn Ryder, Rescue Medium, International Quirky Medium, and author of the 2012 book, The Quirky Medium, The Extraordinary Life of an Unlikely Clairvoyant. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
Hi.
Thanks, Sandy.
We're back for another round.
And
yeah, we've got lots of viewer questions and some favorite episodes. And if it's okay with you, we'll just get started. How's that? As I look through my paperwork.
Great.
I've got it. I do. Here we go. Okay. This seems to be for Jackie and Allison. Do you feel that spirit communication has changed in any way since you did the Rescue Medium series?
Are you answering, Jackie, or me? Should we do it between us?
You go first. You go first.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, doing the show was predominantly about rescue work, spirit rescue work, and obviously, I do different. There's other different forms of spirit communication. So I would say yes to that. But with the experience that the show brought me, has helped me to sort of step up the spiritual ladder, for want of a better word. So for me, yeah, it has changed, and I'm doing different things. I mean, when I was chosen for the show, I was the last person that would have expected to have been chosen. And it was just the happiest time of my life on the show. I mean, we just had so much fun. We worked hard, but we had fun as well. And the spirit rescue work was something that I was really new to. So I learned a lot on the show, and that has helped me with everything else that I've done since. A lot of you know that I work with angel energy as well as with spirit. And one of the things that I didn't think that I'd be doing, communicating with spirit, is doing platform work, because I've never liked talking to a big group of people in a room. I always felt quite nervous about that. But spirit, as they very often do, and Jackie, I know will agree with this, that very often if there's something that you're going to do, and obviously it's on the cards for you to do, they will throw you in at the deep end. And that's exactly what they did. And I just remember the first time standing on a stage, looking at 50 pair of eyes looking at me, thinking, oh my God, and inwardly saying to my spirit guides, you've really got to help me with this, because I really, it was the first time that had ever happened. But I really enjoyed it, and spirit never let us down. In whichever way we work, they are always there supporting us every step of the way. So, and I also do physical mediumship now, which again is something that I wouldn't have thought I'd be doing, but again, it's something that, spirit have decided that that's what I'm going to do. And, hey presto. Over to you, Jackie.
Over and out. Well, I was doing spirit rescue even before Rescue Mediums came along. That's how Rescue Mediums came to be, really. And so I was everything that I'm doing now, I was doing before Rescue Mediums as well. But I agree with you, Alison, that spirit will push you in directions that you feel uncomfortable doing it, but they know that you can do it, and so they want you to work in that way. And I can honestly say that when I work with spirit, whether it's doing readings or whether it's teaching or whether it's rescue work, it can change with each with each thing that you do. It can change. So I could do a reading one day, and then all of a sudden the next day I'm working in a completely different way, because spirit will work with your strengths and then will think, okay, well, that's one of her weaknesses, so let's try and strengthen that one a bit in your case, it was platform work where they threw you in at the deep end,
They
and
do.
you were, and with rescue work as well, because
Yeah.
you didn't know. I mean, you were so totally amazing how you came into this, Alison, and you literally dragged by the hair into it and forced into situations that you felt really totally uncomfortable with. And so I think we're always changing, because spirit changed the way that they work with us, because they have to try and get a message across, and they'll do it in whichever way they can, you know. So
Yeah.
it's
They
a
take us
really
out
good
of our,
question.
I know they literally take us out of our comfort zones, don't they? And they think, well, you're not
Yeah.
staying there anymore, you'll get on with that. But in the nicest possible way, you know, for our development.
Exactly.
Yeah, just amazing. Yeah.
The next question is for everyone. Before you did the Rescue Medium series, did you each consult your own spirit guides or look for counsel from spirit in any way?
Well, I think Edna should be the first one to answer that one.
Okay.
Now with that question, do you mean before starting the whole series or before each episode?
Oh, both maybe, but really the whole series when the idea first came about.
Okay. I guess I was, when we started the series, I had done, a few decades ago, I was involved in different meditations and involved with some work with spirit. And then, you know, as life goes along, I kind of went in the background for a while. So when I'd started the show, I guess I wasn't fresh with connecting with my guides or angels or spirits at that point, but it was the show that triggered that again. And I developed from there with it.
Wow, that's great.
That's, I didn't even know that. For me, starting the show was based on, as Jackie has said, a thing that we shot in England. And I was sort of on the fence about paranormal stuff. But it came to me pretty quickly. And the demo that we did, that's what we pitched to the broadcaster, and they picked it up. But and since then, I mean, you know, spirit-wise, I have a new understanding of what that is, especially in my house, like right behind me on my stairs. Oliver, who's I think he's the great uncle of Jackie, he's in the house, but he doesn't pay rent.
You know, I think that my great uncle Oliver is the one that has been behind this, because he likes Michael very much and he likes being there. He scares some of the people he doesn't like who go to his house. He will scare them, as Michael will tell you, but he really likes Michael. And I think because of my great uncle Oliver and looking into the family history, which is how we sort of came to meet, I think he's one of Michael's guides. I really do. And I think he's pushed Michael to do this, to do the show, and to contact me. I mean, how it all came together was so bizarre. I know we've talked about that in a previous episode, but I really think that Uncle Oliver is literally behind Michael, and pushing. Yeah, you may well look behind you, Michael. He's behind you. So I do think that spirit they are the ones that have orchestrated this without a shadow of a doubt. And one of my spirit guides told me a good few years before the show started that Christine and I would be working in different country on a show. He didn't say what, he just said we would be working in a different country, and we should just prepare ourselves for that. So yes, they did. They'd already got it planned out, of course.
Yeah, of course. And what's interesting about Uncle Oliver is, I don't think he's behind me right now, but he could be, is that he's buried in a cemetery that's about 8 minutes from my house. And I know you know this, Jackie. I have seen his grave.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, something like that is really fascinating, because it's like, okay, so you're stuck here, you're doing this, blah, blah, blah. But then I always think, and I don't know what you think, Jackie or Sandy or Allison, is like nobody ever dies in a graveyard.
Right.
So their spirits may not be there. If you die in a graveyard, I don't know. I'd like to Google that. Anybody ever died in a graveyard? and that makes me wonder about where their spirit would be. Because usually when you go to a graveyard, it's been weeks or days since you've died. And so your spirit, I don't know, is it still there?
I don't think so. No, I don't think the spirit is that's my personal opinion. Is that I don't think they're there. I think the graveyards are obviously there because the body is buried there or cremated there, but it's for the loved ones. The loved ones need a place to go, you know, to feel that connection, and that is the last sort of resting place. So from that point of view, I think spirit will draw very close whilst you're there, because they want to comfort you whilst you're, you know, paying that respect to them. So I think they would be there then, but, you know, given a choice between hanging out in your own home where you were really happy or in a cold graveyard, what would you do? I know where I would be.
That's true. Right.
Well, I'd hang out in a cold graveyard if they had Pinot Grigio.
Oh yeah.
I knew there was going to be a joke in there somewhere. That's what I was thinking when you said what you were saying before, Michael, and you said you were going to Google it, and I thought there's going to be a joke here somewhere coming in.
What about you, Alison? Would you feel your spirit guides had told you about all of this?
Oh yes, definitely. I didn't know what was coming, but I knew that there was big changes coming. I worked for the police for 13 years as a civilian manager, and then working in the crime management unit. And I just got to the stage where I thought, I just knew that I was going to be using my spirituality full time, but I didn't know in what concept, you know. And when I was asked to go along, you know, to be filmed, along with other people, I have to say, I did feel nervous. I remember standing outside Feathers and I was saying to my guide, oh my God. And he said, look, just be yourself. When you go in there, do what you always do and take off your shoes. So I thought, well, that's interesting. So when I went in, that's why I remember saying that. And I said, do you mind if I take off my shoes? And you said no, Jackie. And, you know, everybody said no, the cameraman and our director. And I just did. And it just seemed to flow. I didn't feel, it felt right. That's everything to do with something. When you know that you're going to do something new, or you feel that something's coming in, it feels right. And I just knew that it was right. And obviously the decision then I had to make was, do I stay working for the police, which at the time actually was a job for life, not so much now, there's a lot of changes, or do I jump off the lily pad and do what I've always wanted to do, what's in my heart and what's in my gut feeling and what my guides are pushing me to do. And I didn't have to think twice, really. You know, that it was that instant decision, and I thought, yeah, I know exactly what I'm going to do. And I think quite a few people were surprised, my mum more than anyone, I think. But yeah, it just felt right. And yes, I was guided by my spirit team, particularly my main spirit guide. Yeah.
So, Alison, when you felt that,
yeah,
did you doubt it at all, or did you just think, no, this is right?
I just knew it was right. I just knew. There wasn't even, you know, I just thought, gosh, a decision is, do I stay where I am with the police, job for life, or do I, you know, follow my dreams? And it was sort of like an instant thought, but I just knew in my gut feeling that it was right. And that's what my spirit team were guiding me to do. And the rest history, you know. So I do listen to them from time to time.
Well, what would you say then to people that are watching this? Should they get in touch with their spirit guide and find out directions that they should go in?
I think it's a good idea. So they could do that by meditating. But obviously not a lot of people know how to meditate. So it's always good to join a psychic circle, you know, with a reputable tutor, and they will guide them through the whole process, who the spirit guides are, not who they are as in give them the name of the spirit guide, but what spirit guides are and the difference between spirit guides and angels and so on. But meditation is the key to everything spiritual. That's where they will most likely meet their spirit guide, although for me it was in a dream. But then I always have to do things differently, I suppose. So, you know, but yeah, I think it's a great idea. It's something, I don't know, I just feel it's something that everybody should do. But not everybody believes, do they? So.
But you like to meditate though, Edna, don't you?
Yes, yes. And you get so much more clarity through meditation and connecting with spirit and just everyday life and decisions and what you're going through. It really does help.
Yeah.
And it helps to calm the mind as well, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're giving yourself the best thing you can, really. You're giving yourself your own time, and you know that's really good, because we are normally, without COVID, obviously rushing here, there and everywhere, and not having time for ourselves. So I think when we meditate, it's good for the soul, and it's good for the mind. It's good for the physical as well, because if you're more relaxed, the brain can get on and do what it should do and run the body for you. So what do you think, Sandy, about meditation?
I think it's a good idea. I think what I hear most is people say they don't have time.
Yeah.
But I try to explain that they can do it when they're walking. They can do
Right.
it when they're, you know, it doesn't have to be with music and incense and candles, and they can just find their own peaceful place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Sandy, what do you do then? Like you just said this, but what do you do when you meditate? Do you, like you said, like do you meditate on a walk
Yeah.
before you go to bed, blah, blah, blah?
Yeah. Mostly when I walk, because I walk the dog, you know, 3 or 4 times a day. And we're very fortunate here to have trails and woods and things to go through. So
Yes.
it can be a conscious meditation where you have to, you know, hear 5 things, see 5 things that are red or blue, or, you know, and then you're consciously sort of looking for them so your mind can rest from the rest of your day. Or, you know, you can just chant Om in your head and wonder why, you know, people walk by you funny, but it's that kind of thing. I find it easier if I'm walking, if I'm doing something.
And you're going to organise some meditation, aren't you, Sadly, for veryparanormal.com, so that people can, and is that going to be like a live meditation, or is it going to be where, you know, it's pre-recorded and they can, you know, link in?
It could be either. I'm pretty happy either way. I've been writing out a lot of them that I've been getting, and have a few that I think it feels that would help people, because they've helped me. And I think I'm being guided or pushed to create that for a broader space so it can reach people, you know, that need it.
Terrific. Well, sign me up. I'm there.
First one, Jackie.
Yay.
Me too. Need it.
Okay, perfect. Done. Okay, great. I just have a question still on the spirit guide and how everyone consulted or looked for a higher force before you did the series. Had you not followed that guidance, and for anyone out there that thinks, oh, their spirit guide, you know, was hinting at them to do something, but they just didn't take the opportunity, do you feel that that opportunity comes around again if you don't take it when it's presented to you?
I think there's lots of opportunities that present themselves to you, and it's up to us as individuals whether we take those opportunities. If you are meant to take it, you will. And that's how I feel. So it's like a friend saying to you, oh, I really think you should do that. I really think, but that's their opinion of whether they think you should do it. It's whether you feel you should do it. Like Alison was saying about that, you know, that gut feeling about wanting to do something. It's the same thing. So if your spirit guide or even a loved one in spirit is going, go on, and you're not quite sure why you've got that feeling about doing that, you just feel as though, I don't know why I'm here, I don't know why I'm doing, I don't know why I've picked the phone up now, I just feel as though I need to. I think you need to act on that, because it could be an opportunity that will not present itself again in the same way.
Right.
I agree. And also, you know, we as human beings have free will. And I know the angels in particular and spirit guides are governed by many universal laws. So if they present something to you, and, you know, even if there's more or less bashing you on the head saying, come on, or it's been repeated, which is usually a sign, you know, that you're going to go for it, and you still ignore that, then I feel that that door closes. But that's not to say that another door won't open with another opportunity coming in. You know, we've just got to go with how we feel, really. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's great. Okay, moving on. Jackie and Allison, do world events have an impact on how people receive messages that you give them from spirit?
I'm not sure how to answer that one, really.
Here's a little, can I give you a little example?
Yeah,
So,
please.
recently, I mean, if you're my age, this was a big deal, but Live Aid was 35 years ago, and it was just the anniversary. And I happened to watch some of the footage from that time. So there was Bob Geldof, there was Paul McCartney, there was U2, there was Elton John, you know, just about everyone you could name at the time that was popular in music. And they showed Wembley Stadium. And I'd have to look up how many people Wembley holds. But there was Diana, there was Charles, you know, it was just terrific. The climate at the time, maybe because, you know, I was in whatever old I was, my 20s, I guess, at that time, it was just so optimistic. And there was, you know, one Irishman behind the whole thing, Bob Geldof, saying, I have an idea of what I can do here, and did it. So to me, at that time, spirit messages would have been received maybe with more optimism or more determination. Now, with the current climate, things are a bit cynical. I know people that watch the news all day get very depressed. So are you seeing or feeling an impact with your clients on how they're receiving messages at this time?
One thing I've noticed more than anything is that, I mean, obviously we were in strict lockdown here in Spain, so I think that we came out of lockdown earlier than you guys, and Jackie in the UK and you guys in Canada. But I'm noticing more now that people are coming to me more for healing. I'm doing more online readings rather than one-to-one readings, because people are still, I suppose, scared is the wrong word. People are still very wary. So, and also, I felt, you know, I'm through Spirit's guidance to do meditations, you know, on the YouTube channel, to share, you know, optimistic, beautiful meditations with people, to lift them, because you can feel that. I mean, as sensitives, you know, all of you guys are sensitive, so you will know that when anything like that is within the air, all around us, you feel it, you sense it. But what we all try and do is we try and help to lift people and bring a bit of joy into their lives, because looking on Facebook at friends on Facebook who are all over the world, people are dealing with it, lockdown, in so many different ways. But yeah, that's what I've noticed, I must admit. But there's one thing I wanted to share with you, and I wish I'd have brought the picture. We've been having clues in one of my groups, the physical mediumship group, for a long time, but not knowing what these clues were. And months and months and months ago, in each of my meditations, was the song "Silence is Golden," and there's a kind of hush all over the world. I was saying to the others, why am I getting, and then obviously when lockdown came in, I knew. But one thing that really left tingles down my spine is one of the ladies in our team she's now the most incredible psychic artist. She doesn't think she is, but the stuff she produces is amazing. And we were looking through some of the old photographs, the old drawings that she'd been doing as clues from our guides. And one is a guy wearing a mask, and she did that in 2018, so 2 years ago. Wow. So they've been giving us clues all along. I'll show you, I will show you that, because it really, I went, oh my God, have you seen this? How many clues were they giving us? But obviously we wouldn't know that it would be something so strong and that would affect everybody worldwide, you know?
Was it influencing your art?
I think really everything that Alison said, I would sort of say, yeah, exactly. I've experienced the same things with, not particularly with the healing, because Alison is a healer, but certainly with more direction. People want more direction and comfort, I think, to know that they're making the right decision. And I think people are very uncertain at the moment because they're not quite sure what the next step is. So it's taken them way out of their comfort zone. So they're feeling really nervous about, you know, what to do next. And that's how I found it. But yeah, just the same as Alison, I've had more sort of Skype, Zoom or Messenger readings than in person. Of course, in person we have to distance with the masks and everything else, so it doesn't look very spiritual, but you know, it's a very spiritual journey at that moment in time. But
are you surprised by the number of TV shows that are around now, where it's more commonplace to flip on the TV and watch a show featuring messages from spirit?
Well, I would defer to Edna to answer that firstly.
No, I'm not surprised, because as we've said, these are changing times, and I think people are looking for more comfort. They're questioning things more. I think they're looking perhaps to the spiritual side for answers. And also people have more time. And with more time, I think they're probably asking these questions that have been sitting in the back burner for a long time, and now they have the opportunity to check it out and look for it. So no, I'm not surprised.
I think that's a perfect answer, Edna.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, I mean, for me, I completely agree with that. And she's 100% right. And I think spirit probably, not probably, but they do understand what we're going through. Mm-hmm. And so if they still use us as a source of information, then that's what they're going to do, no matter what the virus is or anything. But anyway, I agree with that now.
Good.
First time in my life I've agreed with Edna.
Jackie and Allison, through your careers as mediums, who has been your greatest inspiration or influence?
Ooh, I think for me, it is a British medium called Doris Stokes. She's long gone and no doubt working from the other side now, but she was one of the first mediums that I could connect to in the written word. She wrote a lot of books about communicating with spirit children, and she's just phenomenal. And I think she opened my spirituality up to question what happens when we die, you know, because the information she was giving on her platform work in particular, there's no way that she could have known that information. I said, how does she do that? How does she do that? So yeah, I think for me, she has been my greatest influence in the spiritual world.
Myself, I did read in spirit about Doris Stokes, and she's coming in a lot now, and I'm noticing more and more because of coming up to the lockdown. And our physical mediumship group, our table is called Doris. So that's because a friend of ours that was part of our circle, he's from Liverpool, and his parents were very good friends with Doris, and he remembers Doris when he was growing up. I remember seeing or trying to see Doris on the telly when I was a kid, and I was intrigued.
Yeah.
But every time I tried to watch it, my mum would go, "You're not watching that," and switch it off. So then I thought, right, the next best thing I can do is to read her books. So that's what I did. And a lot of people don't know that she actually wrote poems for parents who'd lost babies and small children, which were amazing. And I'm not saying that she's coming in to me all the time, but I've noticed just lately that I am doing a lot of poems for people. So when I've done a reading for somebody, their loved one in spirit will channel through me, and I'll write a poem for them. And, you know, and they're saying it's as if they've written it themselves. But the person also, because I didn't know whether it was people in spirit or people on the earth plane. So obviously Jackie was a great influence in my life, because she was my mentor, taught me about psychic abilities. So Jackie, and my best friend Pam, who's my Reiki master, and she taught me Reiki 21 years ago, believe it or not, show my age now. So yeah, so I would say Doris, definitely, in the spirit world. And I just remember her when I was a child, growing up. And obviously, we do table tipping with Doris as well.
Good old Doris.
Oh, just amazing. And she was talking to us when we were table tipping one time, and we asked her a question, and the lamp just went off completely, and it made us jump. I screamed. I'm just a wuss, really, even though I do what I do. And then we said, "Is that you, Doris?" And the lamp just came on again. So yeah, she's around us, definitely.
That's great.
So Doris is an electrician.
Yeah, well, she can certainly switch lights on and off, that's for sure.
So we're going to a question from Izzy. Okay, for Jackie. Jackie Dennison, I use your lighthouse meditation. It's one of my favorites. Do you have more that I can find? We were just talking about meditation.
We were, yeah. Yeah, there are a few meditations that I've done, but there are some great meditations on YouTube. You know, and I very often do that. I'll go onto YouTube if I just need some time for me, and I need to just think about, let somebody else talk, let somebody else do that meditation. That's why I was looking forward to yours, Sandy, on veryparanormal.com, because that is, you know, a great way of being able to connect with other energies that are similar to your own, you know, and you and I have got a very similar energy, and so I think Izzy should get in touch with you and find out when you're going to be doing your first meditation.
Thank you, Jackie. And thank you. Right now, I'm going to take the opportunity to teach me about meditation. You've helped me when it's been the middle of the night here and early morning in the UK, and you just send me a link like here. And I think, oh, okay, just hearing your voice. And it's all in the voice sometimes, isn't it? Because that voice can instantly make a difference, and probably does for Izzy when they use your lighthouse. Okay, here we go. Second part from Izzy. I've heard the term earthbound spirits. Why are they stuck here? Are they dangerous? How are they created? Do they ever phase out or dissolve? Having an Irish upbringing, I've heard stories of fairies, sprites, and imps. And as a child, wished a fairy would appear in my room. The Irish are storytellers, I know, but I hope there's some truth in this magic.
Oh, do you know what? I love fairies, absolutely. Edna and I and Alison would often go fairy hunting, wouldn't we, girls? You know, looking for fairies in trees and things when we were having a break in between filming on the show. I can honestly say, and I wouldn't have said this at one time, because you've got to be careful when you're telling people things. Because they'll say, oh gosh, she's a right nutter, she is, isn't she? You know, but now, you know, I'm not phased now whether people think I'm a nutter or not, because I know I am, so that's fine. But I know that I have seen fairies twice in my life, physically seen with the naked eye. The first time I was about 8 years old, and I was in my parents' bedroom. My parents were downstairs. I think Dad was out at work, Mum was downstairs, and I went in to their bedroom, and I wasn't sleepwalking, I wasn't asleep or anything else, and I saw they have like a little fireplace in their bedroom, and these little people about so high came out from the fireplace, one after another, and walked along the top of the fireplace, along the top of the unit, on top of the wardrobe. And it sounds a bit like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but they had these picks that they would throw with cord to them, and they would pull themselves up, and there was probably about 8 or 9 of them, and they walked across the top of the wardrobe, and they got to the window, and I'm thinking, how are they going to get out? How are they going to get out of there? And the window was open, the top window was open, and they jumped, and as they jumped out through the window, the wings appeared. So I thought, oh my God, they're fairy, but they were ugly. They weren't cute little things like Tinkerbell. They were ugly, they really, really were. That was my first encounter. In fact, that stayed with me so much that when my children were born, I wrote a story about that happening and illustrated it, and I've still got it now. I'll have to show you sometime. But the second time I was an adult, and I saw little tiny little fairies, very quite sparkly with wings, and I saw them in the garden. So there were fairies at the bottom of the garden, but they were quite peevish. They looked really nice, but they were like, how dare you come here? This is our domain. And they were going from the flowers, from one flower to another. But that was physically seeing things, and I hadn't taken anything, and I wasn't drunk. I definitely saw them.
Jackie, can I ask a question about that? I mean, I've not seen fairies. I've felt fairy energy. I've felt the elementals around me, but never seen them. How did you feel? Did you feel excited? Did you feel calm, peaceful? Did it frighten you? Or, you know, when you were a child? Yeah.
When I was a child, I was literally awestruck, is the only word I can think of to describe how I felt, because it was like, what? And it's like, can't believe, and literally the child would rub the eyes, and it's like, what?
They were still there.
They were still there, yeah. And I literally did pinch myself to make sure I wasn't dreaming. And then I was excited about it, and I ran down and I told my mum about it, and she thought I'd been dreaming. You know.
Wow.
Oh yeah, you've been dreaming, but I know I was awake.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's
So
amazing.
Edna, you like all the fairies and elementals, don't you?
Oh, I do. I do. I love looking for them again in the forests and gardens and yeah,
Didn't you go to is it in Lilydale where you went, where
Yeah.
there's a little fairy place where you leave offerings for the fairies?
that's right. There's a whole fairy walk where different people have left little houses and treats for them, sparkly things that they might like.
Hmm.
And it all feels just very magical there in that primordial forest. Yes, definitely.
Fabulous.
Well, you do know that, I guess you all know this, or you don't, that Iceland has a department of fairies, and they have, there's a highway, I've never been there, a highway through Iceland that was curved around a hill because the hill was full of fairies.
Wow.
And Iceland totally believes that.
Yeah,
Wow.
And I think that's really cool.
Mm.
I do too.
Mm.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should do a toast to the fairies to round up the
Yeah.
show. What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah.
Here we go. There we are. Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
To the fairies.
To the fairies.
Thanks, everyone. And thanks to everyone who wrote in. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Sandy. You're amazing.
Bye.
She
As is
certainly
everyone.
is. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Anne.